Hello everyone, my name is Sark and welcome back to, surprisingly, another MS Starman review. The last time we took a look at one of these figures was with the MS Starman Chun Li, which surprisingly a lot of you loved. So hopefully a lot of you enjoy this Cammy as well, because this is also a 1/6 figure where instead of Chun Li, it's Cammy, and it pretty much uses the exact same model with a couple of differences, which I do want to get into. But without further ado, let's take this Cammy out and see how she compares to the Chun Li. Alright, so here we have the MS Starman Cammy from Street Fighter. Technically, it is like the Assassin Fighter something. So, because it's not a licensed product, this is an actual third-party product, pretty much. But she is looking quite beautiful, to be honest. So she stands at a whopping, all the way to the top of her head, around 11 3/4 of an inch, 11 1/2 around there, which is actually, I think, taller. She is taller than Chun Li, or maybe because I have the legs a little bit spread out. They're about the same height, so realistically, I think they look really good together, especially if you have them side by side. So, if you guys don't remember, this is the Chun Li from MS Starman, the one that I reviewed a couple of months ago at this point. But now, we have Cammy. They announced her pretty much right after the release of the Chun Li. So, yeah, she looks amazing. Look at that. That is quite an ass. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm definitely not getting monetized for this. So, yeah, just looking at her up close, she has a lot of really good detail. I actually do think that her face looks a lot better than Chun-Li's. The hair is not sculpted. The hair is actually pure strands of, like, silk from the looks of it. She has that nice little scar on her face, which is really good. Her fabric for the bodysuit looks really freaking nice. It's a completely different fabric, too. Just to kind of compare, it's not the same one. They definitely could have cheaped out, but two different fabrics for each of these figures is really good. Very good. And as you can see, we do have the thighs. You can get rid of the actual bodysuit if you wanted to, you maniacs. But I don't know if it's going to be very visible. Let me just get really up close. You can kind of see, but she does have veins on her thighs, and she also has veins on the chest area as well. So there's a lot of really nice detail with this figure. Even the boots are very well done. Very leather-like. It is an actual piece of leather, just very thin leather. She's a little dirty. Like every Chinese company like this is gonna have issues with like dirtiness, cleanliness, that kind of stuff. The harness on the front, you can get rid of it if you wanted to. There's a little clip right here. Yeah, she has veins on the arms too. Very nice figure overall. Now you may be wondering, well, this is a Cammy figure, but she's pretty not Cammy-like for some reason. Why is that? Well, there's a lot of things that come with this figure, kind of, not as much as Chun Li. This is just a one suit. So yeah, there's a lot of sort of accessories with this figure. Not as many as the Chun Li. This is just a one singular figure. No double outfit, unfortunately. Would have loved a second outfit with the Street Fighter 6, but at the same time, this is the classic look for Cammy. So in terms of the articulation, it's been a while since I've taken a look at one of these figures, and I don't really pose my Chun-Li just to be safe with the actual body itself. So if I remember correctly, the neck doesn't really move. Well, it does move a little bit, so you can look down about that far without the torso, which is really nice. That's actually not bad. Looking forward, you kind of have to push it, so let me get rid of the head real quick. You have to push it a little bit. It's going to cause probably some issues with the head itself. So about that far, it's gonna look weird. Not gonna lie, I will say it looks a little bit weird, just looking upward with the figure itself. So there is that. So just gonna return it back to its position. The arms. So the arms do move. They can definitely do a T-pose. If you wanted to, you can get further than a T-pose, but I wouldn't recommend it just because, again, you can see the actual silicon that is being used for this figure kind of just flexing and bending and all that kind of stuff. And you can see, actually, here's a perfect example. There is a tear already on the silicon itself right here next to the armpit. So as much as you can avoid just moving the arms super flexible and that kind of stuff is going to be your best bet. Now, I do understand that there's a lot of complaints where it's like, why not make these figures just pure plastic, just in the 6 scale figure or 6 scale sense. I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't know. The silicon does have like a type of oil, so do be careful while holding her. Kind of hold her from the feet or even the torso as well, because if you get rid of that oil that's around it, it's going to crack. It's going to be more prone to cracking at that point, so there's that. For the elbows, again, not going to stress it out too much, just about a 90-degree angle for the elbows. You can move the arms forward if you wanted to, but again, just be careful while moving that. Like, look at this. It's kind of already ripping apart. So do add like oil, like this type of oil. I think silicon oil would be really good. So if you have the silicon or the shock oil that I have for my figures, just kind of dab a little bit, put a little bit on over the figure. I think that will make it live a lot longer for sure. So just as a suggestion. So torso, she can look down about this far. She can crunch her torso pretty well, not gonna lie. So that's a good thing. Going backwards, pretty good. I don't know how much is being stressed on the actual abdomen, but look at that curve, Jesus Christ. She doesn't have the biggest ass in the actual games, but they really outdid themselves here. So for the legs themselves, she can do the splits. Again, just be careful with how much you're stretching the figure. Just making sure that she's not being fully stretched out. Yeah, so you can get about pretty much this length in terms of range. That's really good. I like that. So very nice. Kicking forward, that was always one of the bigger issues with Chun Li. She couldn't kick forward that much, but for this one, about almost 90 degrees, about 85. You can definitely push a little bit if you wanted to. Okay, you can definitely push a lot more. Again, just be careful with prone to breaking or anything like that. The knees, again, 90 degrees. You can definitely push it more. Just be careful with the pegs and everything. This is actually pretty thick silicon, so just again, be careful with that. I think I'll be able to get some pretty good poses with this one. So yeah, I'm gonna bring this back down. And of course, creases and all that kind of stuff. They're probably gonna fix themselves as time goes on, because this seems to be a pretty good silicon that doesn't seem too prone to creasing for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it works. Like for example, I have some creases in my Chun Li, but I believe that these are gonna sort of fix themselves later down the line. So if I can get, there you go. So you can see a crease there and a crease on the arms, but besides that, there's not much creasing anywhere else. But yeah, this Cammy has pretty much the same amount of articulation as Chun Li. You can push it if you wanted to, just make sure not to hold a pose for too long. Otherwise, you'll get creases everywhere, which is not a good thing. And you might get some ripping on the actual silicon body. So let's move on to the accessories, because this has been a long video already. But let's just look at those, because she comes with some pretty nice stuff. Alright, so as for the accessories, she doesn't come with much. but I think it's nice enough. So what she comes with is pretty much just the rest of her basic outfit that she usually has throughout the games, and I find that quite interesting. So first we have the little hat, of course. Why wouldn't we? We have the hat here. Very nice, very good fabric. I don't know how well it will hold on her head, but it is the size of her head. So if you wanted to have that with her, you can definitely put that on at any time, which is good. Very nice. It's a little bit weird in terms of how it's actually, like, the actual stitching of it. I don't know if that's how it is supposed to look like. It kind of is, yeah. So it's stitched up a little bit more to the left side, so she's supposed to have it kind of in a crooked angle, which is not a terrible thing. It's just, it's not going to stay on too much, but that does give her her Cammy look, which is really nice. We have her leg strap, which is really nice. I love this one. It's not a stretchy material. It's just, you can clip in the actual thing if you wanted to. If I can. Please. Please, sir. Just clip in. I want to... Okay, come on. Gotta put a little bit of force on there. So you can get it off pretty quickly. It's just getting it on kind of a hassle, but you can unfasten it very nicely. We have her little forearm braces, which look really nice. They're just pure plastic, but they are painted beautifully with some wear and tear with the silver on top of that. Really, really nice. We have 2 fists, which is really good. She does do a lot of punching into sort of fighting stance hands, which is really good. Now, there's something that I mentioned where it's like, she doesn't necessarily look like Cammy. She doesn't have her green stripes. Her little camo stripes. Well, that's because they really did something interesting where they gave you a full sheet of stripes for this figure. So these are stickers that you can apply onto the figure in any way, shape, or form that you'd like. I'll try to make sure that it is as accurate as possible to the actual character, but if I miss 1 or 2, do forgive me. So overall, this figure is just as good as the Chun Li. Saying that, I'm honestly going to give this figure a 9 out of 10. Now, you may be wondering, well, in Chun Li I gave her an 8. Why am I giving this one a 9 if it's pretty much the same? So, well, pretty much, the pricing of this figure is like nearly $200, which realistically for a 1/6 scale figure is not bad, especially a postable 1/6 scale figure. So, going back to that Chun Li video, I'm retracting my statement of an 8 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10, being one of the best Chun Li 1/6 scale figures out there. Same with this Cammy. This Cammy is probably the number 1/6 scale figure at this moment. So I really like the range of articulation, the aesthetic of this figure. The face is really beautiful. The fabric is great. The proportions, whoa, the proportions are great. Not gonna lie, that ass is absolutely gigantic. Something I forgot to mention is that her hair strands are wired, so you can post them however you want. If you were gonna have a like a flying kick or something, you can definitely have the wind kind of help you out with that. So a very fun figure nonetheless, and I'm really, really glad that I got this one. It was able to find one when I had the chance. So a little bit longer video than the Chun Li one too, so do forgive me for that. It's been a while since I've done one of these 1/6 scale figure reviews that are postable. But yeah, hopefully on the video, or like this section portion, you can see the different stripes that she has attached to her body and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of different fun poses with both of the figures. And one last thing, I will be getting the Street Fighter 6 inspired Chun Li from the same company. I already have her on pre-order. I'm definitely excited to get her for next year, so be on the lookout for that. But besides that, That's all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this figure. Are you gonna try to find her? Because she is pretty much sold out everywhere from what I saw. I got this one from 1/6 Outfitters. That was the last website I found her for a really decent, reasonable price, and they seem to be a good company from the looks of it. So yeah. Besides that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.